In this lesson, I'm going to show you an easy F chord, so you can play that instead of doing this F bar chord here. So this usually trips this chord and like this bar chord here for this F, that usually trips a lot of not only new guitar players, but like intermediate guitar players. It trips them up because it's a really hard chord to get to, especially when you're playing acoustic and you're trying to keep good rhythm and you're trying to keep just kind of good flow going on. So I'm going to teach you this F chord right here. It's still an F chord, just a different chord voicing. So typically you'll see this F chord when you're playing chords in the key of C. So if you're new to acoustic, you're new to guitar, I did a lesson a couple weeks ago on chords in the key of C. So we had our C chord, our G chord, our A minor, and then our F chord here. So you'll need to use this F chord a lot when you're playing in the key of C with the C shapes, if that makes sense. Sometimes you'll also need to play it when you're playing chords in the key of G. So when you're playing like that G chord, an E minor, a C, and then you might need that F chord when you're playing chords in the key of G. So I've done a couple of lessons on just these different chords in different keys. So I'll link some of those lessons up top and in the description below. But let's take a look here at this F chord. So really, we're gonna get into our C major position here. So check out the diagram on the screen. And when I'm playing these chords, I like to just keep my pinky finger on that high E string. That way it kind of gives, you know, my hand position and my fingers a little bit of a base and foundation. So when we're playing in the key of C, we always have this pinky finger down and then this pointer finger down. And these two fingers right here just move. Those are the only ones that move. So we have our C. To get to that F, all we need to do is just drop our middle finger and our ring finger down one string each. They're gonna stay on the same frets that they're on, but just move them down one string. So you have your ring finger on the D string of the 3rd fret, and then you have the middle finger on the G string of the 2nd fret, and then we still have our pointer finger and pinky finger locked in on those two strings. Now typically with this chord, like with this F chord, you only really want to strum the bottom 4 strings. If you wanted to do a more full strum, you could mute this low E string with your thumb up here and strum, and I have this A string muted, so I'm just muting that with just pushing my ring finger up a little bit. So with that thumb, we're grabbing that note that we have our pointer finger on for the bar chord. So it's a little bit of work to grab that note, but for years, and usually if I am playing these chord, like this chord, I'll just kind of mute that A string and the E string and just strum. And I really just try to focus on those bottom 4 strings. So just an easy chord progression using this F chord. You know, we'll do the song Waymaker. Love this song. I do it in all my lessons. So that goes F, C, G, A minor. You are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. So it makes things a lot easier than having to do, you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper. I mean, that's not a bad change there, but if you're going from like an A minor to an F bar chord and then to like a G, this just makes it a little bit easier. And it sounds, to be honest, in my opinion, when you're playing these chords in the key of C, this F just sounds smoother and easier and more simple than all these notes in most songs. So that would be the F chord playing in the key of C. If, you know, like I said earlier, it will sometimes show up, this F chord, when you're playing in the key of G. So a chord progression for that might be, just that F, C, G. And when you do play this this F chord in the key of G, typically, you know from my lessons and just from watching probably a lot of worship leaders lead on acoustic, that when you're playing in the key of G, usually you play this G chord, you play that easy C chord, D, E minor. So this C, the C add 9, it's just easy. And I think it sounds a little bit better than that C chord. But anyways, if you're playing, you know, that chord progression F, C, G, that change from this F back to that C add 9, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little bit, it makes you kind of work a little bit to get back there. So sometimes I'll just play, if I am playing this F chord in the key of G, I'll just play this regular C chord, just this C major. So, and then I'll switch back to that G after the C chord, or maybe just play that open G right there. So just, you have that option. You don't always have to play like this C add 9 chord when you're in the key of G. So sometimes it makes sense to play that C major. So anyways, that just shows you a really just an easy and practical and good sounding way to play the F chord, which can be a problem chord for many people playing guitar. So I hope this helps you out. If you have questions, definitely just leave a comment. Let me know what question you have, what you're struggling with, and I'll be happy to help you out. So love y'all. See you soon.